Mic's ready, everything's ready, and we're ready to roll. Welcome to another video of Sail the Veil, and today, because the response was so amazing, we actually invited back Christy from Fresa Weddings. Christy, thank you so much for taking another day off your schedule for us.
For you, darling, anything.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And guess what? We're here again.
I know.
Aquí me quedo.
The beautiful Aquí me quedo.
Here in Rosewood.
Here in Rosewood.
And today I actually wanted to talk about something that was brought up a lot after our interview of last time we met. And this is actually a really good question too. We got asked a lot about guests.
Yes.
And I really thought that this was the best way to make a whole interview out of this.
Okay.
Because I did get the question of, Moni and Christy, should we prioritize on our guests or should we prioritize on choosing the perfect venue for us? So how does that work? As we know, we're pulling all of these guests over for a destination wedding here in Mexico, flying in a lot, maybe 50 guests, 100 guests, depending on the count of your wedding. And should we sacrifice on our venue, or how does that work, Christy?
Well, I always say never sacrifice your venue for your guest list.
Okay.
That is my one of my, I have a lot of number one rules, don't I? But the main thing is that the bride and groom need to be really happy with their venue. And I've said before, once you've chosen that venue, that dream venue, everything else comes in, falls into place.
Okay.
So as an example, I mean, if you guys are staying at, say, a boutique hotel in Tulum, your wedding is in Tulum, the best part about having something a little bit more private at a private boutique hotel or a beach club is that your guests can really stay wherever they want within the area. And what I actually find is that relieves a ton of pressure from the bride and groom too, because they're not choosing one hotel to make 100 people happy. So the guests can kind of stay where they'd like to stay with what fits their budget. Maybe they want more of a family vacation or a honeymooners type vacation.
Because they do take advantage.
They do, of course.
Right.
They're spending their money to come, and it's really nice for the bride and groom to be released of feeling like they're spending their guests' money.
Right.
So I love that aspect of having something a little bit more private. And the wedding is here, but stay wherever you like. Stay where is comfortable within your budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you choose, if you choose an all-inclusive venue,
Yeah.
also, it's still important to choose the venue that you want.
That you want, exactly.
Right?
I mean, absolutely. It is going to be your happily ever after here. So, and anybody who, all these guests that are flying in for your wedding are coming to see you and are coming to celebrate your love that day. So, people are just so happy to be in Mexico. How could you not be, right?
I know. Christy, does it have to be that your wedding and everything about your wedding has to be in one same venue, or can we do different type of options, even if you want to do a rehearsal or welcoming party? How does that work?
Absolutely. See, this is the beauty of having a venue that you just have your wedding at, because it's basically just for your wedding day. You can choose to stay at a villa in some of our areas. We've got these beautiful haciendas and beautiful villas. And the bonus about booking a villa is that you can also use it for your rehearsal dinner or your welcome party, which is incredible. It's a whole second venue that you can use. Beyond that, we provide transportation on the day of the wedding. So
well, that's something you worry about
yes.
sometimes. How do I move all my guests?
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, we have amazing transportation companies here that are well versed in moving lots of people either from the airport or to and from the wedding. So, if you've fallen in love with a hotel, that's 30 minutes away from your venue, is it really a huge deal? We put some margaritas in the transfer vans and your guests are on an adventure to your wedding. So they're just excited to be there too. So we can make absolutely anything work. If there's one certain hotel that you absolutely love and you fell in love with a venue that's 35, 40 minutes away, we'll still get everybody there safely and happily, and that's how we do it.
I totally love. I do have to say though, if you're getting ready right? During the wedding day,
Yep.
try to stay around the actual place where you're getting married.
Exactly. That
Perhaps.
you know,
that changes a little bit.
It changes a little bit,
Okay.
but I mean, it's really great because there's so many smaller hotels that we can just rent for the night or for the day
Okay,
of the wedding. Photography team and hair and makeup can just come there, so you're nice and close to the venue that day. And boys and the groom and bride usually like to sleep apart that night anyway, so it's something fun for the girls to go and do and stay closer to the venue together.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love the idea.
I love it too.
I love. One of the things that you mentioned, which I totally agree, is that a lot of the guests program the wedding for their family vacation. You mentioned that a couple of times, and I really think that that's such a good idea. There's a lot of guests that this is their first time here in Mexico. The question here is, when do you send your save the dates? How long do you have to give your guests
As
in
soon
advance?
as that ring is on that finger and that venue is booked, you send your save the dates.
Okay.
I like to make sure that we give people ample time.
Okay.
So even, you know, if it's a year and a half away, there's no harm in sending the save the date. You know, the invitation obviously comes afterwards, but giving people the heads up, this is where our wedding's going to be, just giving them enough time to plan their own vacation time, to plan their own family holidays around it and whatnot. I find that the more time people have to prepare, the more people that are able to come to the wedding.
I love it, because
yeah.
they take advantage of the beautiful wedding,
Yeah.
and they also get to visit Mexico.
And they have their own vacation, however they'd like it to be.
When do they have to turn in the final head count to the wedding planner?
To the wedding planner, the very strict wedding planner.
I know.
No.
When is it when you tell them these are the total amount of guests?
Basically at the 60-day mark. So 60 days before their wedding, we need a final head count. This obviously is to finalize all the items on their quote, things like how many chairs do we need, how many tables, how many centerpieces, as well as the food and beverage numbers. So we need to give ample time to the venue to get all of the food and beverage prepared, to let them know what the head count is going to be. And that's basically at that point, that's our cutoff, is the 60 days.
So you give your guest about a year of just of in advance to
Yep.
let them know, I'm getting married here in Mexico, I'm getting married here in Aquí Me Quedo in Rosewood, and then 60 days before your actual wedding is where they give you the final head count.
The final head count
Okay.
and our final quote, and then we work on all the logistics and music and all those good things after that.
It's just so much information for the guests. Do you think that all of these blogs or websites are a good idea?
Oh, I love them.
Okay.
I absolutely love them. And the reason I love them is because it really relieves more pressure from the couple. So they can
okay.
put all the information, all the beautiful ideas, all the, you know, airport transfer information, area activities, things to do when they're here, you know, obviously the wedding schedule, the timeline. Transfers are going to be in the lobby at 3:30, be there. You know, all of this information is in their wedding website, and it's one place that the bride and groom, instead of yielding 100 emails, they just say, hey, here's our wedding website. Everything you need to know is there. It's one less thing that the bride and groom have to worry about is, oh, did I tell so-and-so what time the transfers are coming, you know? So everything that they need to know is there. Every guest is getting the same information. They know exactly where the wedding is, what time it is, and where the hotels, the options of the different hotels in the area.
Okay.
So a lot of couples will come down for a site inspection, and they maybe can't choose one hotel that they want to tell everybody, and so they say, hey, we fell in love with this one, and this one, and they put it up on their website.
You
and then
decide.
You decide. Let the guests go ahead and book it for themselves. Have the
I love.
contact information on your website, and they go and handle it all by themselves.
And I love the fact that what we're trying to do is, or the wedding planners try to do, or overall, this Silva Veil is trying to do, is to simplify everything for the bride. And if you have more questions about this, remember, we did a video on the whole 5 good steps, or the most important things you must do before planning your destination wedding.
Yes.
Or in the process of. So go take a peek at that video. And so everything is just to simplify your process and just to enjoy that whole year of planning.
This is the thing. Wedding
love
planning
it.
should be fun.
I
It
know.
should be exciting. I mean, you wouldn't believe, the designing part of the wedding for me as the wedding planner, when I'm working with the bride and the groom on what the floral's gonna look like, and the decor and the
love it. I
lighting,
love
and
it.
I just love it. And I love that they're at a point where they're relaxed enough to really go, this is my dream. This is what I want. So that's why everything needs to have its place, right, Moni? That, you know, you have somebody like myself or one of the amazing wedding planners in this area who are keeping you on a very strict timeline. Right. So when you are going through those design phases, you know that everything else is done up to this point. I'm right on track with where I'm at with planning my wedding. I get that question a ton of times too. Am I so behind? Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
You know, so just they know that they have a structure and a timeline that they can follow, so that the whole process of planning the wedding here is fun. It is relaxing. It is enjoyable.
And as you mentioned on the last video,
Yes.
on our last interview, I know, and I have it here in my head, that it's so important to be on time of everything just so you can come to Mexico and enjoy your guests.
Yes.
Because I feel like, remember, you're flying in all these people from abroad, from different countries, where you probably haven't even seen that person for like so long, and they're here reunited to see each other for your wedding day. So what you do want to do is spend some time with them.
Exactly.
And also, I know really important is, how do you make your wedding so memorable? You want them to experience something special. How do you make that happen, Christy?
Well, you know, I've said this so many times in my initial consult with all of my couples, and we start talking about the budget and the breakdown of the numbers, you know, and then we move into the process of actually putting numbers to their vision of their wedding. When we start talking about where we can cut, should I cut the mariachi band? Should I cut this? And no, absolutely not.
Should I cut the photographer?
No! Honestly, because I always say that guests at your wedding are going to remember how they feel at the end of your wedding. So things like your DJ being amazing, and you're having a mariachi band for your cocktail hour, and then all those personal details like your signature drink, the signs, and you know, your little photo guest book, and all the fun stuff that are you, that make the wedding uniquely you. That's what I love. That's what our guests always remember, because they feel like they came to an amazing space, and it was completely custom to the bride and groom. It had so many pieces here and there of,
and that they feel like they are taken care of, and they feel like if everything is personalized, sometimes when couples personalize everything, like their sitting chart, or they even have their names, that just, as a guest, that makes you feel important.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And it just makes it feel more, it's more personalized. So those are the personalized items, and then the entertainment and the overall feel that just all come together to make, those are the important things to sort of allocate the budget towards. So that's why I always say guests are going to remember the overall experience and that feeling at the end of the wedding more than they're going to remember something like, say, your centerpieces. Okay. So there's areas that a wedding planner can guide you towards to kind of help shave on certain items to make sure that we keep those important things, and then ultimately all of those little items that the bride and groom bring, personalized items, like I say, they make such a huge difference.
Oh, I could imagine.
Yeah. Well, you love shooting it.
I love it.
That's the details.
When you get married, make sure you bring stationery. That's like something really important. Bring over all of these personalized things that you did, everything you invested on. I want to make sure to shoot it.
Exactly.
Because that's part of your story. That's part of your wedding, part of the experience. So when I turn in the entire gallery, I want you to see that. Like, do you remember those personalized water bottles, or those personalized coconuts that I've made for my guests? I want to make sure that happens for your guests. So when you go back and see that gallery, you know, it just makes that difference.
Absolutely.
I love it. Absolutely. So bring everything over, and again, the good thing about having a wedding planner is that you bring all of that stuff, you give it to the wedding planner.
Yep. When I meet with the bride and groom on that first day and they hand over those suitcases, you just feel them go, I know. Because it's like out of sight, out of mind, right? And when you trust the planner who's executing your wedding, you can hand it over to them happily, and then you just go and enjoy the time that you have with all these people that have traveled so far to come to celebrate you. Right?
And they want to see you.
And they want to see you.
Right. Because after all, everything is about enjoying the moment. And just, you know, it's such a long time of planning that what you want to do that day It's just enjoy.
Truly enjoy. And
I love it. Okay.
To truly enjoy, you need to have zero stress.
Right.
And to have zero stress, you need to know that everything is under control.
Well, I think we talked about really important things, and I really
Yes.
want to thank you so much. Today, it was just primarily talking about guests.
Yes.
And about what to do and the head counts and when to turn in your head count and so forth. So I really want to thank you, Christy.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, because we have so much information, so much valuable information, I should say, and I really want to thank you. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me, honey.
Thank you, thank you. So remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember, if you want to keep having more of these informative videos and you want to find out more about how to plan your destination wedding here in Mexico, just like our videos, subscribe, and I'll see you on my next episode of Sail the Veil. See you till next time.